Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more I get into this portion of Canto 10, Chapter 14, the richer and profound, and it's a very special section, needless to say, but I'll say it anyway. One of my favorite sets of prayers is the Brahma Samhita or Govindam prayers, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, and they're prayers, that's prayers of Lord Brahma. And somehow, the somehow is Krishna's arrangement, somehow Brahma seems to have forgotten everything that he learned in his Brahma Samhita prayers. But it was just an appearance, because he is under the influence of Krishna's Yogamaya potency, and Krishna's Yogamaya potency does pretty amazing things, including bewildering Brahma, including bewildering Krishna. You know, Yogamaya potency does amazing things. So Brahma became bewildered. The founder, the original preceptor of our entire sampradaya, who personally received the Vedas directly from Krishna. And he started a disciplic succession, which we're part of. And there's so many nice glories. And he gets bewildered. There was no hope for us. But it was Yogamaya. It wasn't the kind of bewilderment that we get. So that, A and B, mainly so that Krishna can engage in loving exchange with Lord Brahma and many other devotees who are connected with this whole pastime. And so there's nice edification or teachings, very much like Maharaj Parikshit becoming bewildered and insulting a Brahmana because he was overcome by thirst. I mean, total out of character behavior of Maharaj Parikshit. Why? Yogamaya, blame it on her. So a pastime could be performed that he could be sent back to Godhead swiftly and leave behind many, many, many nice teachings. The Bhagavatam is such a literature. If we look at such a literature with mundane vision, we won't understand it. And that's part of what we're going to be hearing today, part 3. So he's offering prayers after having become bewildered, and now he's become unbewildered because Krishna showed him some special mercy. That's how to get free from bewilderment. Krishna shows some special mercy. And then he's offering very, very nice prayers. So the very, very nice prayers had, so far there were 2 parts. The introductory first 8 parts with very important verses in them. And then part 2, his expressions of humility. And now part 3. Those first 2 were fantastic. And now comes his inconceivable potencies. Krishna's inconceivable potencies. Here's the sections of prayers for those of you that are joining us for the first time with part 3. Approaching Krishna, humility in such a way that he was feeling, I made a big mistake, I made a big offense, but it was by my childishness and my innocent frivolity. So please, this wasn't malicious. So please forgive me. I want to stay connected with you without any interference due to my mistake. And now is the inconceivable qualities of Krishna or inconceivable Krishna. And then 3 more sections. Beyond bondage and liberation. So it's a contrast with knowledge and ignorance. And ignorance has all of us in bondage. So beyond, what's knowledge is beyond liberation. Beyond bondage and liberation. That's knowledge of Krishna. Glorious Vijvasis and glorious Krishna. And that's 40 verses. And then the chapter goes for 60 verses. So we're going to have something when, Krishna permitting, we'll have something when I come back. Who knows if tomorrow is going to happen, but that's the plan. So here's the first of this part 3. My dear Lord. There's Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. In this incarnation, you have proved that you are the supreme controller of Maya. He's a control of Yogamaya and Mahamaya, both. Although you are now within this universe, the whole universal creation is within your transcendental body. A fact demonstrated by exhibiting the universe within your abdomen before your mother Yashoda. So normally, well, here's the other image. This is Krishna showing the universe is within his mouth, and within his mouth is the insides, his intestines or his abdomen. But here, Mother Yasoda is trying to bind Krishna, and she can't bind Krishna because he doesn't want her to. That's a good reason. And when Krishna sees Mother Yasoda perspiring and trembling and, distraught, he withdraws his potency that prevented her from binding him, such as Sankalpa Shakti, and he exhibited his Kripa Shakti. So now she could bind him. But she couldn't bind him. One explanation is because within Krishna's abdomen is the whole universe. So what rope can go around the universe? It's very reasonable. As long as you understand the universe is within his abdomen. But how can the universe be within the abdomen of a little boy? As we've been hearing, during this particular stage of his pastime with Lord Brahma, 4 years, 4 months, or Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur uses the number of 5 months. Either, this little boy. And within his abdomen, the whole universal creation is there. So somehow, although Brahma wasn't present, he knew about it. This pastime, where Mother Yasoda is looking in Krishna's mouth and sees the universe in his abdomen. Maybe somebody sent him a text message or something. Or maybe he watched from the sky, or maybe something. He somehow heard a whisper, Krishna's pastime. And here's a phrase in this verse, Maya Dhamana Avatare. He's the subduer of Maya. Maya, just like it's one of the name when Krishna subdues a demon, it's something Dhamana, Kaliya Dhamana, the subduer of the Kaliya demon. So Maya Dhamana, he's the subduer of Maya, or he's the melter of Maya, or he's the blower of Maya. But what he is saying, in this incarnation, you're the dispeller of illusion or illusoriness in this world. That's Krishna. That's Brahma's understanding of Krishna's position. Maya, Dhamman Avatare, can also mean Maya goes away from worshippers of this avatar. That's a correct Sanskrit translation of this phrase. The nice painting of Krishna, huh? the world which exists outside, that's the world of Maya, exists inside. You eminently showed the universe within your abdomen. So, in other words, is what you showed Yasoda also Maya? Or was it his internal potency from which the external potency is of which the external potency is a reflection? That's a good question. You understand the question? You understand the question? No. On the right side, that's the feature of Maya, this world, the Mahamaya. And then over on this side, Krishna showed the universe within his abdomen. Was that universe that he showed also Maya, Mahamaya? Or was it Yogamaya? Well, he's the controller of both. Who wants to guess? Yogamaya. Thank you. It was easy. So there's Mother Yasoda looking inside. Krishna looks really big there, boy. Whoo. We may find a pot. This is Vishwanath. We may find a pot within a house, but we can hardly expect to find a house within the same pot. However, the Lord can appear within this universe and simultaneously exhibit all the universes, not just one, within his body. Such is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. So remember, this is, the inconceivableness of the inconceivable. This is what the topic is for this section. And, it's his pastimes display it, but to drill a little bit and to understand what the pastime is exhibiting, and it's very special. Next verse. Just as this entire universe, including you, Krishna, was exhibited within your abdomen, so it is now manifested here externally in the same exact form. One is the original and the other is the replica, or a reflection of the original, just exactly as Bhagavad Gita states. There's the upside down tree, and then there's the right side up tree. And the upside down tree is a reflection of the right side up tree. It's a reflection of the same tree. This world is Mahamaya, and the spiritual world is Yogamaya. How could such things happen unless arranged by your inconceivable energy? And it's very explicit. The inconceivable energy theme is very explicit here. And a nice painting. This is the European BBT illustration of Krishna book. I've said this a few times, but there's a few people here that maybe didn't hear this. Way back, it was a bit of a surprise to many of us when Prabhupada came out with Krishna book, because for two reasons. He was focused on Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the midst of Srimad Bhagavatam, here comes another book. And he's focusing on 12 cantos. How can he do a timeout and write another book and then write another book? But Srila Prabhupada could do it amazing. So Krishna book came out. And I was familiar with it was going to come out because I'll share with you a little bit of what was going on in the summer of 1970, a few years ago. Prabhupada was making translations for Krishna book. And so he sent there was little audio cassettes, because they were real easy to mail, little mini audio cassettes. And then it went to the transcribers. So the transcribers would get to hear Prabhupada's voice and transcribe into a typewritten form. And then the audio cassette would then be passed on to the art department, and they'd sit around together. There were three main artists: Bharadraj, Murlidhar, and Jadharani. And they had a cast of helpers, but the cast of helpers were primarily assigned in making Panchatattva paintings, like Janava, Nanda Kishore's wife, Janava, Prabhupada disciple Janava. She was making Panchatattva paintings because Prabhupada, the new centers were flourishing and expanding, and the devotees weren't ready for deities, and so Prabhupada's language was Guru Guranga altar, and he wanted original oil paintings to go on the altar, and then the photo of Prabhupada, Guru Guranga. So they're making some team of artists were making Panchatattva paintings, and then the three main ones were making paintings for Prabhupada's books. And their system, aside from their system, they weren't experienced artists yet. They became experienced just by painting. I was told this by one of those three. They asked Prabhupada, should we take art lessons? I never had a paintbrush in my hand before. Should we take art lessons? Prabhupada said, no. Look, this is Prabhupada's answer. Lord Brahma has designed this body in such a way, you practice something in devotion, you can become expert at that something. Practice in devotion, not just rudiments, but in devotion, you can become expert. So that's what they did. They just kept practicing with devotion and they became expert. But the original Krishna book was kind of rudimentary. And here's another detail. It was a system that Prabhupada had, even before Krishna book, even before the Bhagavatam, even before he started on the Bhagavatam. Light of the Bhagavad, Prabhupada had a full description of all the artwork that he wanted created for Light of the Bhagavad, which never got published till after Prabhupada departed. But it was a full description of what he wanted as artwork. He was narrating, and he envisioned and told the description for the artists what to make. So that's what he did with the artists in the beginning. And so they did what they could, and without having a paintbrush in their hand. It was a little clunky, but it was, it got the message across. And then after some time, the English version of Prabhupada's books were to be translated in German, French, Russian, Dutch, Swedish, etc. So they formed a separate European BBT that took care of the publication of Prabhupada's books. And they didn't like the artwork, or they wanted to do better artwork for Krishna books. So this is one of those. And there's Mother Yasoda looking in Krishna's mouth, and you look over in the upper left, and it's what she saw. And she saw the whole universe. There's Narada Muni and this and that and the other thing. And in the background, you see there's Balaram and some of the cowherd boys. Because Balaram told Mother Yasoda, and the other cowherd boys told Mother Yasoda, Krishna's eating dirt. And Krishna said they're liars. Well, he's your brother. He's Balaram. He wouldn't lie. Here's liar. Look, you can look inside my mouth and you can see for yourself. So what she saw was what she saw. And then the painting shows she not only saw the universe, but she saw herself looking inside Krishna's mouth. Just as this entire universe, including you, was exhibited within your abdomen, so it is now manifested here externally in the same exact form. So there's a plan for what a universe is going to look like. And the universe looks like the plan. It's like, the architect makes a blueprint and then they build a house. That's the replica of what the blueprint is, if you have a good contractor. Okay. What does inconceivable mean? A dictionary definition. Unbelievable is inconceivable, or unable to comprehend. The mind can't get around it because it's beyond the mind. So we're going to spend a little bit of time, and I'll call them, name a few pastimes that you can think of where Krishna was exhibiting his inconceivableness or inconceivable potency, because that's our topic. An example, Krishna exhibiting inconceivable potency. Any one of them works. Putana. I wanted to verify because I wanted to be sure I got the number right. When Putana died, when she was killed, how big was her body? 6. Agasura was 8. She was mini compared to Agasura. 6 miles long. And specifically when she fell, it was outside the precincts so no cows or no calves, no homes, nobody got squished. She just fell. So what's another pastime? What's another pastime where Krishna exhibited his inconceivable potency? You look stunned, so I had to help you. Manasi Ganga, can you name a pastime when Krishna exhibited his inconceivable potencies? Swallowing a forest fire? No. Twice he did it. That's inconceivable. A forest fire, not just like a match. Some Houdini can swallow fire, but not a forest fire. Ganga Narayan, one pastime from Krishna exhibited. Which one? The pearl pastime. Okay. That's not in Krishna book, but it's a nice pastime. It's definitely a nice pastime. Mukta Charita. Okay. Here's some nice paintings. This is on the one hand, there's Queen Kunti coming before Krishna, appealing to Krishna, everything but please don't leave, but everything else, which means please don't leave. But he's not going to leave because he's everywhere, which is what's on the right side. When Maharaj Parikshit was at risk for life because Ashvatthama did what he did, Uttara prayed to Krishna, and immediately Krishna was there. Immediately. Because he's all pervasive. So how can he leave if he's all pervasive? Pretty inconceivable. When Krishna was, according to, there's somebody sent me a timeline. They sent me a little video with a timeline of Krishna's pastimes. And according to this timeline, Krishna was 3 years old when Shakatasura was killed. So a demon was sent. Shakata means cart, and Asura means demon. So he was sent to kill Krishna. So he decided he would hide himself, conceal himself in the cart. The cart was loaded. People now have storage places. You go and rent a booth and store stuff. They didn't have storage spaces, just had a cart and put metal heavy stuff. So he hid in the cart. Krishna knew, and when he kicked, the cart fell and crushed the guy. end of Shakatasura. His tiny lotus feet kicked a huge cart and, as if incidentally, killed the demon. Inconceivable potency. Krishna killing Putana. Newborn baby killing a witch. There was a young boy. He didn't know what a witch was. He said Halloween. She was going, no, I don't think about Halloween. His mother was going, Halloween. She flies on a broomstick. So there's a very nice description Prabhupada expressed. It's right in the verse, Kichuri. She's not Kichuri. Kichuri. She was a witch. And witches have an ability not to fly in a broomstick, but Prabhupada described, still in parts of northwestern India, there are ladies that practice this black magic thing, that they take a broken tree and a limb of the broken tree becomes their passageway. And they can fly in the sky all over the place with their broomstick or broken branch of a tree, and fly here and fly there. And so she was a witch that had the ability to fly in space without a 747. She just took off, or a helicopter. Newborn baby killing a witch, awarded her a position as nurse despite her intentions. And then Krishna's knocking over the twin Arjuna trees, Nyamala Arjuna trees. We discussed this yesterday. Or lifting Govardhan Hill. Not only lifting Govardhan Hill, his left hand, the little finger of his left hand. I mean, like, that's dramatic, huh? Let's assume he was right-handed. Any more? Yes, there's many more. Without accepting this principle of inconceivable power, there's no meaning to God. Not like that Bala Yogi. I don't know who Bala Yogi is, but somebody apparently by the name Bala Yogi was claiming to be God. He became God by yoga. Rubbish. So these are for the rascals, fools, but those who are intelligent, they will stress the inconceivable power. Brahma stressed herein that without accepting the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot explain things as they are. Something that I've been saying kind of consistently for this whole Krishna's pastimes in Braja. If there's some pastime that you have trouble understanding, like how it's inconceivable, one of the things to do is to look at that pastime through the lens of rasa. And Krishna's exchanging rasa, and he can exchange rasa in ways that his Yogamaya potency assists him for the stimulating his experiencing and their experiencing rasa. So here's a second option. Look at it through the lens of the inconceivable potencies. And a kind of, somebody that's not a devotee will go, oh, you Krishna people, you're so silly. You can't understand something, so you just give it a nice name and whitewash it, and that's the explanation. Get real. So, but it's real. That's truth, absolute truth. Okay, here's a little exercise. This is something I'm going to ask you to do here and now. Discuss in pairs of two. How does Krishna's inconceivable power act in our lives? Or can you think of an experience in your life where you have recognized this is Krishna's inconceivable power? either way. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Find somebody, or a few somebodies. Groups, little groups are good too. Well, I can see these interactive sessions are stimulating. But we have another one. So this is part 2. So read it. I don't have to read it to you. You can read it. And when you're ready, on the count of 3, begin.
Yeah.
Following in your footsteps. Okay, now that you're all invigorated, we're going to move on. Verse 18. Brahma says to Krishna, "Have you not shown me today that both you yourself and everything within this creation are manifestations of your inconceivable potency?" Now remember from part 2, those of you who are not with us, part 2, Lord Brahma made this whole big court case with Krishna about he is Narayan. And if you didn't know why, now you know why. I sent that little PDF file from Chaitanya Charitamrita where Krishnadas Kaviraj takes that very same verse, that you are Narayan, and then expands it into 3 different reasons. Yes, you certainly are. Krishna is resisting. He's testing Brahma. And he gives 3 distinct reasons. Now I give you the second reason, I'll give the third reason, I rest my case. He's Narayan. But he's Narayan in its very special sense because he's the source of Narayan. He's the basis and support of Narayan, and therefore Narayan is him and he is Narayan. Anyway, he's manifested everything by his inconceivable potency. First, you appeared alone. Now here's the sequence for those of you that missed chapter 13. You appeared alone. Then you manifested yourself as all the Vrindavan's calves and cowherd boys, your friends. This is the European BBT version. Next, you appeared as an equal number of 4-handed Vishnu forms who were worshipped by all living beings, including me. And after that, you appeared as an equal number of complete universes. Finally, you have now returned to your unlimited form as the supreme absolute truth, one without a second. It's a very interesting painting. Brahma, for all this time I had already determined that the world in your abdomen and outside worlds, all the thousands of them in the pores of the primeval Purusha, are illusory, inasmuch as Maya, who is their ingredient, cause, is also illusory. Ingredient cause is a technical, but you just read ingredient, but it's a cause. Ingredients are a cause. This causes an effect, and that effect becomes a cause that causes the next effect, and the unfolding of the universe by cause and effect. Then he's the original cause. Brahma. But right now, beautiful painting, huh? I realize the existence of the thousands of worlds are consisting of your, or Vishnu's, Swarup Shakti, and hence of transcendence. Your great Aishwarya cannot be comprehended by reasoning. So if you want a nice explanation, go talk to Brahma. Because otherwise it's beyond reasoning. It takes beyond reasoning to understand it. That's why he's inconceivable. That by definition. Next 3 verses. Each of the Vishnus was being worshipped separately by manifested beings, either moving or stationary, the worshippers ranging from himself, that's with a capital H, to clumps of grass with a multiple meanings of worshiping, such as dancing and singing. Quite a sight, huh? To persons ignorant of your actual, this is the next verse. To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansion of your inconceivable energy. So the painting is depicting Duryodhana pointing at Krishna and saying nasty things about Krishna. And as he's speaking, very, very similar to when Shishupal was blaspheming Krishna, there are certain persons in the assembly that wanted to finish him right there. Next, by his right side, that's the blind King Dhritarashtra and some of his other 99 brothers here and there. And there's the Pandavas are hearing Duryodhana insult Krishna. Before Krishna, this is the occasion where Krishna came from Indraprastha to Hastinapur for a peace negotiation. And as it was told that he is coming, Duryodhana ordered that Krishna should be arrested and put in jail. And he was stopped from doing that. So Krishna came. And when Krishna came, he was given a seat of honor. And Duryodhana insulted him and insulted him and insulted him and insulted him. And it went wild to the point where persons hearing Duryodhana insult him and insult him as if he was something material, then Duryodhana couldn't take it. So he commanded, it's in Hastinapur, and he's got his soldiers and his yes men, and so he ordered them to arrest him, as was the plan before he came. Immediately he made an order. So what did Krishna do? He displayed a universal form. It's not ordinary. This is Krishna Dharma's rendering. Krishna laughed. His body size suddenly flashed like lightning. He began to grow in size, and various gods issued from him. Brahma sprang from his forehead, Shiva from his chest, Lokapalas sat on his arms, and Agni appeared from his mouth. Then Indra and the Maruts appeared along with hosts of Gandharvas, Yakshas, and Rakshasas. From his 2 eyes came Balaram and Arjun, who stood on his left and right side. Beside him stood Yudhishthir, Bhima, and the twins. And behind them were Vrishnis and Andakas, headed by Pradyumna. Krishna's mace, discus, and club weapons appeared, blazing brilliantly. His pores emanated light, sparks, and clouds of smoke. He's material? Arrest him? Everyone was, needless to say, shocked. Duryodhana was seeing as material, so Krishna helped him understand I'm not material. I mean, it's a different exhibition than what Krishna showed to Lord Brahma, but appropriate for Duryodhana. That's what he showed him, a universal form. And they all saw it. How many people saw the universal form? Well, Arjuna certainly saw it, and Sanjaya saw it, And Sanjaya described it to Dhritarashtra. But, this is a circumstance where everyone saw it. Everyone saw the universal form. Thus, for the creation of the universe, you appear as me. Its maintenance, you appear as yourself. And for its annihilation, you appear as Lord Trinetra, or Lord Shiva. Next verse. These prayers are loaded. It's very philosophical and very exciting if you spend time meditating on what he's saying. O Lord, O Supreme Creator and Master, you have no material birth, yet to defeat the false pride of the faithless demons and show mercy to your saintly devotees, you take birth. Among demigods, sages, human beings, animals, and even aquatics. Lucky mom and dad to give birth to an aquatic personality of Godhead. Jiva Goswami comments, in the above two verses, Brahma says, you are the root of the Guna avatars and Lila avatars. Implied, not explicit. There's a nice painting of Krishna. Out of his innate compassion, Krishna takes birth for the sake of dispelling the arrogance which is this: I know the meaning of the scriptures. I am devoted to the practice of yoga. I am perfect. This arrogance goes away by hearing about his pastimes with bhakti. Someone might object. Wait a minute. If Bhagavan has independence, why does he take birth among contemptible things like fish? And why are some of his avatars pitiable? For instance, Vamana begged. And Brahma is going to answer that in his next verse. Your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds. But who can estimate where, how, and when you employ your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes? Who can estimate? His inconceivable, that's on the theme of inconceivable. The gist is the inconceivable, it's the inconceivable might of your Yogamaya. What's Yogamaya? We discussed this. Here it is again. It's a particular potency of the Lord. This is from our acharyas. We heard during the Memorial Day weekend, Garuda's nice explanation. I like his explanation. She is the form. He shared with me a PDF, 12 pages long, in the book that's not yet published, so he said I couldn't circulate it, so don't ask me for a copy. He has 12 pages of just explaining, defining, and what is Yogamaya, because it's a major part of understanding Krishna, and Krishna's pastimes is a major part of understanding Krishna. And it's through the agency of Yogamaya. Of particular potency, she is the form of the play of existence, consciousness, and bliss. Or it's a vilas feature, Satchidananda Vilas. Or Yogamayam signifies mercy endowed with godly might. So it's a mixture of Madhurya and Aishwarya. It makes sense, this is Sanatana Goswami, that he is hard to understand logically because he acts also to show godly might and unlimited, because his acts also show godly might and are unlimited. Again, the unlimitedness or inconceivableness. Therefore, this entire universe, which, like a dream, is by nature unreal, nevertheless appears real. And thus it covers one's consciousness and assails one with repeated miseries. Now this is a verse that Prabhupada liked a lot. The universe appears real, but it assails one's consciousness with repeated miseries. It's true. Jiva Goswami comments, because of the substantial existence of things related to you, the universe acquires substantiality to some degree. What's he doing? No, Prabhupada would say over and over, it's not, the reflection of something is, there's no substance. There's an apple tree, and here's the reflection of the apple tree. It looks like in the reflection, there's an apple in the apple tree, but there's no substance. It acquires substantiality to some degree. When there is something other than you, that is, when there is no glimpse of you, the world is like a dream, given that the world is not constant. So the to some degree, or the glimmer of substantiality is simply this, it looks like. So what Prabhupada said and what Jiva Goswami is saying or writing here, they're not in contradiction. It's just another way of looking at the same thing. We're almost finished with this section. You are the one Supreme Soul, the primeval Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth, self-manifested, endless, and beginningless. You are the eternal, and infallible, perfect and complete, without any rival and free from all material designations. Your happiness can never be obstructed, nor have you any connection with material contamination. Brahma, this is a nice section. Notice on the screen where you see that swan, that means Brahma is speaking. And then you're going to see peacock, that means Krishna is speaking. There's like 6 lines. You, Brahma is saying, the one soul, Paramatma, given that the Jivatmas are many, you're the one amongst many, Krishna. But isn't Paramatma formless? And by convention, the word Purusha involves the sense of having form. So am I a man like every other man? No, you're ancient Puranaha. Krishna is going to say, how am I ancient? I'm recent since I am Nanda's son. Though you are Nanda's son, you are the absolute real, Satyaha. You keep existing in all 3 phases of time. You are the old Purusha. There's still debate. But, Krishna says, since the Purusha becomes manifest along with time, karma, and so on, am I like that Purusha? No, you're a self-manifest. So I am Jyoti. Am I just like the sun? No, you have no limit in terms of either time or space, Anantaha. Other avatars are like that too. What's different about me? You are Adyaha. The sense is, you are the avatarin. You are their foundation. Krishna is not easily going to be pinned. At the end of the 2 prarardhas, will I remain the same Brahma. Yes, you're nityaha. Though this world is eternal and ancient, it is said to be non-constant, anitya, because at the end of the two parardhas, two parardhas means end of Brahma's life. First half and second half and finished. It does not continue as its nature, but you will remain as this form of Nanda's son, even then. Anyone, Krishna says, anyone who has a body is perishing at every moment due to undergoing the 6 types of transformations. No, you are imperishable. Akshara. All these terms are in the verse. Isn't it that those who have a body inevitably have attributes such as joy and sadness? No, you are ajasra, sukha. He whose bliss is unobstructed. Brahma's defeating Krishna. In my early childhood, I had greed for yogurt, ghee, and the cowherd ladies' breast milk. In childhood, I had anger towards Kaliya and others. And in young adolescence, I had lust for the gopikas. So, am I contaminated by lust and so forth? No, you are pure, niranjana, since even your lust is transcendental. He goes on. Still, is it not that I am incomplete due to being dependent on the gopikas and others? You are purna, complete. Being dependent on the devotees who have pure love does not hinder your being complete. Isn't that some other person of my type might exist in this way? You are advayaha, non-dual, and one without a second. Our acharyas are having fun. And that's the end. The unlimitedness of the unlimited. Case dismissed. He's proved his point. And he did it before. He's not being controversial. He's revealing truths about Krishna by his prayers, like that you are Narayana, and that means you're my father. And because you're my father, fathers are by nature compassionate. So you're also super compassionate. So be compassionate, be kind upon me, and let our relationship not be obstructed by my foolishness. Deal with me as you feel you need to deal with me, but let our relationship not be obstructed. It's very nice. How to say this properly? Religion, in general, has an idea that God is good and God is great. Oh, Lord God Almighty, merciful and mighty. So, we would sing these songs on Sunday, at the Sunday services. But how he is great and how he is good, not a whole lot to say. I was thinking, because I shared this a little bit, during the Sunday feast at Potomac Temple. Gosh, that was just last week, wasn't it? At the end, there was an Indian family and their teenage son. I mentioned this already. And the teenage son was looking at me like he was going to burn me with his eyes. not an expressionless, simmering anger inside. And the first question was, did you grow up with this practice? No. Why did you change? It was like, the tone was like confrontational. And so we had a lot of discussion. I was thinking, if I meet this young man again, I'll ask him, you tell me everything that you know about God and the kingdom of God. And I'll sit here and listen to everything that you know about God and the kingdom of God. Go ahead. But when I was young, I asked that question of my mother, father, and the priest, and they couldn't tell me. So let's see what you know. And then you ask me the same question. And then that'll give the answer of why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, to know someone is to love someone. So you say you love someone, but you don't know them? Right. And once you get to know them, you may not love them anymore. But to know someone is to love someone. Without knowing someone, how can you love that someone? So it's not just information kind of knowing, it's the knowing from the heart. It's just that Krishna reveals himself to those who have love for him, and then he says, he tells them, I am like this. He's doing that in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna because Arjuna is his friend and devotee. But Krishna is very generous. He's sharing that same with everybody. Compliments of Sanjaya, who was trained by Vyasadeva to sit on, some distance away and hear the whole thing and see the whole thing and describe it to Duryodhana. And then someone had a tape recorder and transcribed it or something, Vyasadeva. So now we know about Krishna, because Krishna reveals himself. And otherwise you can't know. Now, I used that kind of language with him. That my understanding that I grew up with about the Bible is called revealed scripture, right? Bible is revealed scripture. So what does scripture reveal? It reveals about God. And otherwise you can't know except through, because one of his questions is why you have faith. Why you have faith in the Bible? Because it's revealed scripture. Revealed means before you existed, something existed, and now it's being revealed to you through the scripture. What in the beginning, before you existed, there was God. And then came creation, and along with the creation came you. So how are you going to know about what existed before you existed? Read Bhagavad Gita, it's very clear. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's more clear than clear. And even if we don't understand it, because this came up in the discussion yesterday, even if you don't understand it, that's okay. Keep hearing it. Because those things that you don't understand, and it's not just information, it's realization. When purification comes from sound vibration, then one can understand things that otherwise one couldn't understand. And then if you have a teacher that understands, you can ask the teacher. You can ask mom and dad, what's this? And mom and dad will say, this is this. This is a microphone. I may not understand how it works, and I may not understand lots of things, but it's a microphone. And then in the course of time, I may not learn more about microphones. And that's education. There's the spiritual education, where just the sound vibration is not just the information of what's a microphone, but who is God and what his glories are, and then knowing about him, become attracted. And more than attracted, become attached, become more than attached, become spontaneous, ecstatic in absorption, and then prema, the genuine thing, the mature stage. Okay, let's see if there's some discussion. Prayers of Lord Brahma. If Sri Radhika was here, she'd have her hand up already. Is she maybe online?
She's in Canada.
She's in Canada?
She's doing a 9-day...
That's right. She sent a text message. Okay, here comes the microphone. 9 days, that's big. Okay.
Maharaj, couple of thoughts, questions. Ganganarayan Prabhu and I were discussing that the inconceivability of Krishna expands to also the inconceivability of so many aspects of the material world we live in.
Yes.
Including just our own bodies, of how they
Yeah. How you digest your food, it turns into blood and etc.
And just this morning, I was hearing something that scientists have gone deeper with mathematics to assume now that even before the Big Bang, there was an existence of a universe.
Hey, before the Big Bang.
And the way they phrased it is the universe is breathing in and out, which I thought was really interesting.
That's a very nice metaphor. The universe isn't breathing, a person is breathing.
So you're talking about this, the fact that inconceivability is actually pervasive, and all the spiritual topics, Krishna, everything coming from Krishna is inconceivable. There's only a little cloud of what we can conceive that we have access to, that we're actually living in this world with some sense of I can conceive A, B, and C, but we're really within a cloud of inconceivability.
Yeah. And we're accustomed to it. Something else?
Yeah, I had a question, but I forgot what that question was.
Pass the microphone,
It's inconceivable.
It'll come back. Hands up over here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for coming and giving this wonderful talk. Actually, Balram had a question, but now he's getting shy.
You a little louder.
Balram had a question, but he's...
Balaram.
What was your question? Does the Supreme Lord take a nap?
Does he what?
Does the Supreme Lord take a nap?
Take a nap. Of course, he does everything. There's nothing he doesn't do.
Thank you much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
But when he takes a nap, it's not like you're taking a nap. Your taking a nap is a reflection of his taking a nap. When you take a nap, you like zone out. But Krishna's doesn't do that. Go ahead.
I bet Balram doesn't want to take a nap anymore, I think. Maharaj, I wanted to first of all appreciate these presentations. We've read these pastimes so many times, but I think you're taking us into depths of each of those verses. So much gratitude. I had a couple of thoughts. One was, when the exchange is happening between Krishna and Balram, that our acharyas are delineating, you're Nitya, you're this, you're that, and all of that. There was one exchange where Krishna says, do you believe that I'll be there after these two paradhas? And Brahma says, yes, you will be. And I was thinking, how can he say that with conviction? Because he hasn't seen that yet.
He's got knowledge. The answer, he's got knowledge. He's heard from authority. That's how you get knowledge.
So the second one was when he says, I did this out of foolish curiosity.
Yes.
It's not of a malicious intent.
Somebody's dying upstairs. I've learned something. Mothers, when they hear screaming, they know which child it is. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was able to filter it out, but
You're not a sannyasi.
years back, when we were in Penn State, one of the things that somebody told me was we are in this material world because of envy. And I just couldn't accept it because envy means it is
That's nasty.
malicious, it is intentional, there is a will, so. But when I'm hearing Brahma speaking, I feel like I can relate to that bit a bit more. I'm foolish. I can take that, but I don't know if you have something to say.
Keep reading Brahma's prayers. Very relatable.
Third comment was Bhayahari Prabhu. So I'm doing Bhakti Vaibhava with him.
Ooh.
So he, couple of classes back, he gave us this analogy which was beautiful. He said the cow gives milk. It is nutritious. It's a wholesome food, but she eats grass. Even though the milk is much more superior than grass, she will not still go for it. She'll still eat grass. And so even though the spiritual world is far more superior than the material world, our experiences of the material world, and there is not attraction for the spiritual world.
It's not.
We are not attracted to the spiritual world. Just like the cow isn't attracted to drinking milk, she would rather eat grass. So I forget why that thought came to me, but somewhere in your presentation, that analogy came to my mind.
That's a nice example. There are other examples like that. That's a nice one. Very good. Okay. You remembered your forgotten question. Pass the microphone forward.
Towards the end of your talk, you were speaking about how spiritual knowledge awakens within the soul. And it's through hearing
Yes.
spiritual sound from
Yes.
authority. And so, many persons, and I also live in the technology realm, are thinking about AI and its impact. And is it true that the transmission of spiritual knowledge and the concomitant realization sidestep the AI and whatever AI can do because it requires that there's a source that is speaking from realization?
Yes. You can't make a robot to teach Bhagavatam class. If the robot teaches the Bhagavatam class, it's not Bhagavatam class. For the reason you mentioned. There's consciousness. Without consciousness, what's being transmitted? Material sound. Manasi Ganga. We got 2 microphones. Go ahead. Take your pick.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have 2 things, one comment and one question. Comment that, thank you for this class today. It made me realize one thing, that as I'm aging and all the issues that I have with my health, etc., I'm truly, one realization came to me on one of Krishna's pastimes of him, the Kaliya Daman. And it's been playing in my mind and heart this entire class, just envisioning Krishna dancing on Kaliya's head when he's moving so much, trying to, how Krishna was able to balance himself on his head and continue dancing. It's just awing me so much.
He's not the Raj. He's the king.
Yeah, and like Kali was unable to throw him.
But no
off
one
his
can dance like
head.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Who could dance like Krishna?
So
And he demonstrated it.
that was my one comment. And my question is, I've always heard that we were with Krishna,
Yeah.
and then we turned our face away
Well,
from
wait a minute.
him.
Wait a minute. I'm going to object to the pretext of your question, the preamble of your question. Go ahead.
So I've been wondering that Krishna promises that once we go to him, we will never leave him. He will
That's
never
right.
leave us.
That's right.
So then
How did it happen?
how did it happen? We were with him. We were in his presence. We had association of
Okay.
Nitya Siddhas,
Okay.
everything.
Okay. I get the question. I'm very familiar with the question. And I'm very familiar with the answer. Pass the microphone up. Just you can hold it. Just hold it. Just good. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has the answer. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote 100 books. That's a lot of books. And 90, something 88, 90 of those 100 books, they all have one message within those books. And it's the message within those books is what he called Dasa Mula Tattva. Dasa means 10, Mula means root, Tattva means truths. It's his phrase, he coined the phrase, that Lord Chaitanya gave 10 essential teachings. And 2 of those, some living entities are eternally liberated, Nitya Siddha, and some living entities are eternally conditioned, Nitya Baddha. And then in some of those 100 books, he discusses this your question. Like, how did it happen? The Baddha. And so he dismisses the idea, Krishna's not capricious. That's or the translation of his language. Capricious means whimsical. Okay, you guys, you go over, you stay with me, you guys, you go to hell. No, Krishna's not capricious. He's not partial to some and inimical to others. So if that's not the answer, then what's the answer? And then he goes to what is not. So I'll say it twice because it's important. Do not ask the misleading question, when the living entities were created, because living entities aren't created, they're eternal. Or when the living entities were enthralled or conditioned, because that places it in event in time, but it's not an event in time. So the frame of your question is, once upon a time, we were with Krishna. We looked at our watch and said, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. We stuck out our tongue and we turned our back on Krishna and walked. As if it's an event in time. But it's not an event in time. Any more than living entities. We say living entities are emanation, they're Shakti, the Tatastha Shakti. As if it's an event in time. Once upon a time, there were no living entities. Krishna looked at his watch and said, you know what? I want a bunch of living entities. Boop. There's a bunch of living entities. As if it's an event in time. It's not an event in time. Is it an event? Yes. We're emanations, marginal potency of Krishna. But it's not an event. It's a tattva, but not an event. So what's an event that's not in time? We don't have any experience of that. Because we have experience of events in time. You know, before we were sitting here, we were somewhere. Some time passed, we came here, and then after here, some time will pass, we'll go somewhere else. Except the people that live here. Hopefully they'll stay. So, including Balaram. Where's Balaram now? Okay. So, events that we're familiar with are events in time. And your question is in the frame of an event in time, and it's not an event in time. So what kind of an event is it? My language, this isn't Bhaktivinoda Thakur, my language is it's not a chronological event, it's an ontological event. What's an ontological event? Something that happened ontologically, or it's an event that happened as a way of describing an event that happened. Ontological. So misuse of free will is not an event in time. Is it an event? Yes. Is there a good reason for it? No. It's quite unreasonable. It's really dumb, in fact. There's no good reason other than misuse of free will. Okay, misuse of free will. Okay, what prompted it? What was the cause of the event of misuse of free will, please? What's the cause? There's no cause. What's an event without a cause? We don't know events without a cause. We know of events that have a cause. We contemplate and said, you know, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to want to be somewhere else. So we get up and go somewhere else. That's not an ontological, it's not a chronological event that's caused by something. So that's your question. Why? There's no why. It's misuse of free will. You know, so the way that Prabhupada didn't go through all of what I just went through. He just said some or other. And then many people, it's a big issue. It's a common, it shouldn't necessarily big. It's a common issue. The fall of the jiva. And there are books written about it, and pages and this and that. I like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Don't ask the misleading question. When? Because when implies once upon a time. The question itself is misleading. You get caught in a trap of, it doesn't make sense to me. Can we, something other than that question, please? Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Give him a microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have one question about Yogamaya and Mahamaya, and one comment to Yamuna Jivan's Prabhu question on the So I'll ask the question first. So
whatever you want to do. You got the microphone.
I have an understanding that conditioned souls or even or mixed devotees' sufferings are orchestrated by Mahamaya. What about the good things like moving towards Krishna or Bhakti?
That's not just a good thing. That's a transcendental thing.
Transcendental thing, yes. Is there a touch of Yogamaya in those situations, Maharaj?
Of course. It can't happen without.
Okay.
Now, there's other ways of saying then through the agency of Yogamaya, one can say through the agency of Bhakti Devi.
Mm.
But assisted by Yogamaya, Bhakti Devi.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Next.
Maybe silly, but about his question on AI, and you brought about the consciousness. AI is non-biological and it is inheriting from biological intelligence. So the biological intelligence is inheriting from spiritual intelligence, which is consciousness.
Oh, come on.
I mean, recently I wrote a technical paper, Maharaj.
Okay.
There are some
Don't ask me to
situations.
read it.
No, there are situations that call center AA, the people on the phone, when the 401k dipped, they saying, I'm going to go for a suicide. And AA has to has to stop these sort of situations. So,
Share your article with people that are into this stuff. He may be interested to this stuff. I'm pass. Someone else? Yes. Oh, you got a microphone already. Good. Go ahead. How to young children? Morals.
When Krishna does things immorally, how to explain that inconceivable aspect to children?
Like stealing.
Okay. He has a different rule book. For example, stealing. And most children, I was going to say any children, but most children will understand you don't steal. Not just mom and dad said, but you don't steal. Why you don't steal? Because if you had stuff and people steal, you don't like it, right? So you don't steal. It's disrespectful. But when Krishna steals, it's transcendental. What does that mean, transcendental? It's got a different rule book, he's engaging in loving dealings with Mother Yasoda, and not only Mother Yasoda, all the elder gopis. He breaks into their storeroom and he steals from their storeroom. And that's criminal. It's sinful and criminal. But what is Krishna doing? He's stimulating their love for him, because when they come to complain to Mother Yasoda, check your son, he's stealing from our storeroom. They love Krishna so much, it gives them an excuse to talk about Krishna and Krishna, 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 Krishna. And their love is stimulated. That's what Krishna is doing when he steals. It's love. So, here's your question is little kids. Ask them. This is a little ABC for kids. Have you heard what the word rasa is? Tell me what you know what the word rasa is. Then they'll say whatever they're going to say. A very simple definition of rasa is juice. So let me ask you, what's your favorite juice? And they'll say whatever they say, apple juice or mango juice or pineapple juice or something. Okay, let's do this. I'll conceptually, I'll make a commitment to you. I'll provide you with that juice every day for 30 days. And the first day, because it's your favorite juice, you'll go, yummy. And then the second day and the third day and the week of just one juice, it's juice. You like it. It's your favorite. But you want some variety, right? Not just one. So Krishna does a variety of things that are rasa related, and there's variegatedness. He's stimulating the rasa of his devotees. That's Krishna. That's not me and you, because we can't do that. But Krishna can do that. And it touches the heart. So when Krishna does things that are, for us, are bad, they're illegal and immoral and wrong, we don't steal. Krishna's got a special name. And he has a special thing he likes. Dairy products. He loves the cows. So, and that's the reason. It's his on top of it. So, when Krishna does things that through your lens, in my lens, in the world, it's immoral or wrong, it's something else is going, a different rule book. This is stimulating love with those dear to him. He doesn't steal from people that are not dear to him. He steals from people that are dear to him. Stimulating love. And they love. They love having Krishna steal. And then everything else that you will, same principle, you look at anything else he does. Ranchor. The hero doesn't run from the battlefield. Krishna's honored from running from the battlefield. Why did he run from the battlefield? He wanted to go marry Rukmini. He defeated Jarasandha 27 times with all of his armies and just left him standing alone. And then he ran? Why did he run? It's cowardly for a hero. He ran. It was time to marry Rukmini. He has a different rule book. And then anything else. Anything else. What do you think? It's okay? Okay. He's supervising the children upstairs. Okay, I think we should end. Yes? Any burning, someone's got to say something. Question. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.